Okay, so keep in mind, Core Hall City is a four-player map with all spawn points opened. So these two could spawn in different positions this game. We could see a close matchup instead of a cross spawn. Would be very interesting.
Yeah, close pause on this map would be something else for sure. Let's see what the random gives us.
I would like to make note, because Sick would not be happy otherwise, that in the last tournament we ran, he did in fact pick this map in a game against me, and did win with a Void Rail in. But on to our new players.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, this is Heartland Hitman's Littleskank commentating with Heartland Hitman's Imperative in the lower, in fact, southernmost base. What is this, Akalon Lace?
No.
Okay.
The lower southern down place.
On the lower southern down base, we have Heartland Hitman's KingSlayer, the Zerg, and in the easternmost position, I suppose, we have Heartland Hitman's Sick. Sick is going to potentially do some serious work. Now, understand that KingSlayer won the open house tournament 3-0 versus Dr. J Money. 3-1 maybe versus Dr. J Money. Best of 5 style. Now, we've got a little bit of a tickle fight going on in the back here. Take it away.
Okay. We see what I believe to have been a 14 pool. Yes, a 14 pool coming out of KingSlayer. This is very, very, very typical Zerg. We should see 14 pool, 15 hatch. Double gas at about 36 supply, or at about 6 minutes and 10 seconds to 6 minutes and 30 seconds, somewhere in there. For Sick, there are a few more options than your typical Zerg. He could, of course, do the Parting Immortal Sentry all-in, but as he has opened Gateway first, it's more likely that we'll see some kind of a fast pressure, most likely with a Mothership Core. The typical business with that is Mothership Core, one Stalker, one Zealot, just to try to push in. The idea behind that the Mothership Core can't be hit by anything other than a Queen at early points in the Zerg's game, as it's not worth it to make a Spore Crawler just to fend off a low damage per second Mothership Core. Yeah, of course this push has to come after the Cybernetics Core so that we can see the Stalker come out. We do see this Zealot finishing, a few probes queued up, so as soon as the Cybernetics Core would be interesting, finishes, excuse me, which would be interesting to see if Sick decides to go into a Mothership Core and a Stalker out of the Gateway. And he does. We will see, in fact, a one Stalker, one Zealot, Mothership Core. Oh no, he's going to Zealot. But we will see a push out in the early game. Really, KingSlayer wants to be taking a third right now. And with the setup of Core Hall, with this map being, or this base position being taken up by rocks, he really needs to expand down here. Unless he's planning on playing a swarm host style game, which, as I've said before, very strong on Core Hall with the hard to take third bases. Sick actually delaying his push slightly. There's no Stalker coming out, and the Mothership Core and 2 Zealots are just kind of hanging out, taking a break. Doing some defensive work. 2 Lings come up and they will spot this. Be interesting to see if KingSlayer is afraid of that and decides to add another queen, or if he just kind of lets it go. And he has taken his third base at this left-hand position. We'll keep in mind that there is a wall between the main of KingSlayer and that base, and it's very hard to get units out to defend that, as he essentially has to defend in an arc this entire region to ensure that that base stays safe.
Indeed, he has a Roach Warren going down right now. Now, I think that he would be best served, and I actually don't know if he has layer tech down right now. Does KingSlayer have layer tech?
No, he does not. It's in progress.
It is in progress, and then these overlords need to be immediately transferred into overseers so that he can spot the obs coming in from. And actually, he would be best split, and that goes down right there. Those will be best split so that he sees anything incoming. If
he could actually cancel those, the overseers.
Oh, just now. Oh dear.
Yeah, Evertras made a good point. We do see +1 air coming out of the Cybernetics core for 6, so it looks like he'll be using the same build he used against me with a fast Stargate and a fast, I believe he used 2 Void Rays as a Void Rail, and yeah, and we do see 2 Stargates go down at his natural location. So we have 1 Void Ray coming out, we should see another Void Ray, or a pair of Void Rays out of the Stargates. This is a build Sick really likes to use to cheese Zerg players on Core Hall City, as it were.
Cheese and bastard.
Okay. So we don't see saturation of the third base from KingSlayer quite yet. This is a very, very late saturation, or very, very late third base, essentially, as he hasn't saturated, he hasn't made a queen there. And for all intents and purposes, that's just a slow larva spawner. His drone saturation at both bases is good, but could be a little higher. You do want at least 16 at each base. He's running 15 on his natural, 14 on his main, while we see Sick with 18 and 17 respectively. With a slightly stronger economy, and if we look at workers tabs, Sick is ahead by 6 workers, and really as Zerg by about the 10-minute mark where we are, you want to be ahead between 10 and 20 workers. So right now, KingSlayer is a little late on those workers.
Yeah, KingSlayer is definitely a little bit behind right now. Let's see if he can manage this push.
Okay, and Sick is actually chrono boosting his Stargates to get those Void Rays out quicker. We do have a proper response from KingSlayer in that he has produced Hydras and is getting the muscular augments, which is the movement speed off creep. He could actually take the grooved spines upgrade potentially in enough time to ward off this attack if Sick continues to delay it. He really probably needs that second upgrade and a few more Hydras in order to fight these Void Rays, as the Hydras will be very vulnerable to the Time Warp from the Mothership Core and these Zealots, of which Sick has 9.
Indeed, get a few Lings in there to soak up a little bit of that and get some Hydras behind that. I think that KingSlayer knows what he's doing, probably better than I know what he's doing.
So we do see another round of Zealots come out. This is, of course, to fill in the army so that he has non-gas heavy units. In KingSlayer's position right now, he really needs some more Hydralisks, and what he wants to do with this engagement that'll be coming up is snipe out the Void Rays if possible, because when you look at facing a Protoss as a Zerg point of view, you really want to, or a Terran point of view for that matter, you want to kill the things that take the longest to produce. And obviously, gateway units are incredibly cheap and incredibly fast to make as soon as you have that warp gate research out. Whereas these void rays, there are only 2 stargates out right now, and each void ray takes a minute to produce. So killing 4 of them will set Sick back essentially 2 minutes of production. So we do see a very high Hydra count come out, and Sick is not doing himself any favors by delaying this attack anymore. The Roach count is also getting very high to help deal with those Zealots. We'll see if King can micro his, not his mutas, his Hydras well enough to pick off those Void Rays. I would like to note, King has gotten both upgrades on 1 Evo chamber. This is a little bit of a mistake. He really wants to be researching off both Evo chambers at the same time. But he does have missile attacks and ground carapace on 1, so only one of those would be able to finish. He is attacking before his upgrades come out, but this is a good engage. He needs to move those Hydras to kill those Void Rays.
That is a fantastic concave, and let's see if those Void Rays don't do exactly what they were intended to do. 1A across the map.
Okay, and we do see an overwhelming number of Void Rays there. Smartly, KingSlayer's reproducing 18 Hydralisks at the moment.
Indeed.
So he will end up with roughly 30 of those, but he needs to defend. He does have some Spore Crawler defense at his natural, where Sick is heading with those Void Rays. That'll definitely help, but he needs his Hydras to be there so that he can start taking down those Void Rays and get that extra attack from the Spore Crawlers. He is not reacting to this. Okay, he has. The Queen does go down, but we should see at least 1 Void Ray die here, and we do. So the trade here is a Void Ray for a Queen. In my opinion, very, very, very good for Sick, as this will limit production for KingSlayer quite a bit. And to be honest, at the 16-minute mark, KingSlayer really needs to be looking to take at least a 4th, if not a 5th. He does, of course, have the entire map to play with on a 4-player map. He could just take a base or 2 way out in the middle of nowhere and just kind of hope that Sick doesn't see it and hope that he can get some minerals out of it and some gas before it does get taken out. So the Mothership Core will go down, a critical element to this next fight. Let's see if King decides to engage into this choke again. It would be a bad move for him. The concave won't be good enough against these Void Rays, but there are an overwhelming number of Hydralisks. If he can focus down these Void Rays quick enough, there are Roaches to defend against Zealots and Stalkers. He does decide to pull back as the Void Rays have overwhelmed the Hydralisks. He's reproducing 15 Hydralisks, but it looks like Sick is going to take this and run with it. Charge has finished for his Zealots. We have both upgrades for Hydralisks. We have +1 attack, but no +1 armor, so these are very, very fragile units at the moment. He's looking to secure this 4th base. He's taken it down, but we do see that Sick is on even bases with him right now and already started his 4th. He's taken, and he will be ahead a mining base, which is very, very, very bad for KingSlayer at the moment. Of course, as Zerg, you want to be ahead at least 1 base in both ZDP and CDT.
Like Sick is on 5 base right now, and KingSlayer is definitely being contained to 2 at least.
We do see KingSlayer taking another 2 proxy hatches over towards the side of the map. Very good, as Sick is not likely to move his army over there. If he did, especially on this size of a map, he would be significantly out of position, would not be able to react quickly enough. He doesn't really have robotech. KingSlayer hasn't seen any sign of such a attack switch from Sick, and we can see that he is not making that switch. He has gotten a fleet beacon down. He's getting another Stargate. He's really, really going to commit to these Void Rays. We'll probably see carriers come out next, as Tempests are not quite as good. Not quite as necessary against this quick Hydralisk.
Note again that we do have an expansion as well going down for KingSlayer right now as he pushes in with this deal
Okay,
on the backside.
we'll see this engage come out. If KingSlayer could get a good enough concave right here, these zealots are at no upgrades. KingSlayer moving in, great call. He has caught Sick completely out of position. He will snipe a base. He will be able to get those probes.
And that base goes down amazingly fast. I am very surprised the 1-1 Hydralisks.
Okay, so there's no concave on these Hydralisks right now. They really need to be in a better position to attack these Void Rays. They will all die. This is a good engagement for Sick. KingSlayer caught Sick out of position in turn, came back and found him in a place where he could not defend.
Sick cleans KingSlayer up nice and proper like, and I agree with you that concave worked for a second on that base and took it out very quick, but it did not follow through with what Sick sent at KingSlayer.
Okay, and we do see a slight supply lead, 15 supply right now. Excuse me, for Sick. This is not a good position for our friendly Zergy buddy to be in right now. He only has 24 Hydralisks out on the field right now. He has very, very few. He has 1 Roach and no Lings and only 11 Larvae with which to make more units. He cannot take this engagement. Those Stalkers will, and the Zealots will take out his Hydralisks too fast. So despite a late shield and attack upgrade from Sick, we do in fact see that these 1-1-2 Void Rays will, at the end of the day, completely destroy KingSlayer's Hydralisk composition. From this point, we can just kind of see KingSlayer's building some Lings. This is just kind of a desperation move. This game has gone on for long enough, says Sick. He's going to just push his advantage, try to snipe at least 1 base. KingSlayer never really had a chance to make anything of either proxy hatch. Didn't have enough time to get significant mining done on either of those bases, and Sick should be in a solid position to take a win here.
Absolutely.
Okay, we do see King taking a counterattack. This is just kind of, again, a desperation move. He's going to try to do some economic damage, try to pull 6 units back, and buy himself just a little bit of time to do something. He is building more Spore Crawlers. Oh, and GG.
Oh, and Sick gets the GG. Wow.